It has been long debated whether cheerleading should be considered a sport or not. Cheerleaders, and often their family members, will get into battles with people trying to prove that what they dedicate most of their life to is a sport. And strangely, people who don't do it feel that they need to fight just as strongly against it. As a cheerleader, I never got too into the argument because I knew that there was no way to sway people's opinions, no matter what I said. I mostly just wanted recognition that what I was doing was difficult, and that not everyone could do it. I didn't really care about it being recognized as a sport. However, there are some real drawbacks to not having it nationally recognized as a sport. People today seem to be stuck in the mindset of what cheerleading used to be in the 70s, but cheerleading has evolved into much more than it used to be, which has caused a drastic change in what is necessary to keep competitive cheerleaders safe. With the government not considering cheerleading as a sport, it doesn't receive as much funding as other athletic activities. This prevents teams from having proper mats, proper equipment, and spotters, which are crucial in keeping everyone safe. If you're practicing stunts on a hard gym floor, and a girl gets dropped or something goes wrong, the results can be devastating. There have been many cases of paralysis, severe head injuries, as well as a handful of fatalities. Back in 2008, a girl was doing a stunt and accidentally got kicked in the chest. Her lungs collapsed, and she died there on the mat. In 2010 alone, there were over 30,000 emergency room visits from cheerleading, which is more than double the number of emergency room trips taken from 10 other sports combined. Cheerleading takes claim to more than 50% of all girls' head and spine injuries. If people realized how dangerous the things girls are doing in cheerleading today are, they might look at it differently and see why it's so important for it to be recognized as a sport. Aside from the safety aspect of why cheer should be considered a sport, all you need to do is look at what these girls are doing and see that they are some of the most dedicated athletes out there. Today, competitive cheerleading requires multiple aspects, including tumbling, stunting, pyramids, jumps, and dance. For most competitive cheerleaders, it takes up almost all of their free time. Especially for all-star teams, some people travel up to 2 hours a day to get to their gym to practice. I asked my friend Taylor, who was on Stingray's All-Star Orange, small, medium, and large teams, and she explained that they practice at least 4 days a week, each lasting at least 2 hours, and one practice every Sunday. On top of those regular practices, they are expected to show up a half hour early to each practice to stunt with their group, and go to at least 2 tumbling practices a week, which last at least an hour. The time commitment that these athletes put into their sport rivals that of any other sport. People also don't realize the stamina and strength that these girls need in order to compete at the level that they do. A 3.5-minute routine doesn't sound like much, but when they're flipping and running and jumping and lifting people in the air, it can take a lot more energy than you think. These girls are athletes in the truest form and deserve recognition for all of the time and energy they put into their sport.